We are just about ready to go live with Rauni. Rauni lives in Liverpool, and today we are celebrating the International Refugee Day. And Rauni lives in Liverpool and works with refugees. We're going to add him right now to our video, and he will tell us a little bit more about that. All right, Rauni's just getting ready to join, and we'll let him tell us a little bit more. Let me adjust my camera. Hey, Rauni.
Hello.
So good to have you here from
Yeah, good to have you
Liverpool.
too.
Today is World Refugee Day. And I believe, I can't remember the numbers, we were talking about this earlier. How many refugees are there right now in the world? It's a greater number than we've ever seen before.
Yeah, it's over 70 million at the moment.
That's nuts. That's crazy to even wrap our minds around.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Help us
70
imagine.
million misplaced from their homes in what they call their nations. So,
No, earlier you were telling me that it isn't the archetypical uh, image of a refugee that a lot of people think of when they think refugee. At least a lot of us, before you explain, have this idea of a refugee perhaps coming in, dragging themselves through, and that may be the case, but paint for us a picture of what the majority of those look like and where they would be coming from and why they have become refugees.
yeah, so I think that the most common reasons why people become refugees is I think the first one would be war. A lot of countries where instability just generates an unsafe environment for people to live in and continue being there. So their safety is compromised in continue to in remaining in their own country or areas. There are some a lot of countries where areas are different, like with the Kurds, for example. They're people that we call misplaced already. So there's all that going on. But then there's also the fact that, like for political reasons, people when they see things differently and they don't agree anymore, maybe, or they find that they would like to live under something different, and the way that their country or their nation runs is not really it's not going to change. But then there is not even a conversation. For some countries, even protesting against your government is a crime. And the third is also people when they change their faith, or they don't quite agree anymore with the way that that most people in their nations actually believe. So
You had
yeah.
mentioned earlier that unlike what a lot of people picture, a lot of these people that are coming in are not necessarily street sweepers. They're not necessarily beggars. They haven't come to feed off of the program or steal money or try to change the country. Help us imagine a little bit what might be when we see someone from a different nation, what might be the background of that person that's there?
Yeah, I mean, you would be surprised, but I would say that a good 80 to 90% of people would be professionals. And a lot of people, especially the people that we deal with, so it could be different for other people that are working, that are involved with refugees, but a lot of people that we deal with are high professional people, like you have doctors and paramedics and engineers, civil engineer and IT engineers and all sorts, dentists and people that are highly educated with degrees and masters and doctorate even. But also there's the element of this idea that people are coming to be living off public funds or benefits and stuff like that. I think a lot of these people, they have not in a negative way, but they carry a good honor. That there's that aspect of honor of really wanting to live worthy lives and honorable lives. And for a lot of these people, just even depending, especially at the beginning when they have to depend on the government, it's quite a challenge for these people. So a lot of the refugees and asylum seekers that we work with, they're amazing people that, they just want to restart their lives and find a way of engaging into normal life, if you like, and being able to work and earn their bread themselves without depending on the governments.
Describe for us a little bit of the practical ways that you guys have helped people who are feeling compassionate about this situation. They've gotten
Yeah,
past the fear factor and they're feeling
yeah.
compassionate, but they're not sure exactly how to help. What's been a way that your business and the people that you work with have opposed a way and have found practical ways of helping people?
Yeah, so I think that a lot of people that when they arrive here in the UK, the culture is so different. A lot of these people come from warm cultures where, family and community is everything. And the UK overall is a stereotype, but, it is a cold culture. People like their space, and you don't show into someone's house unattended and things like that. Sorry, unannounced. So there is that thing that for a lot of people it's very different. The culture is very different, and so I think just building that bridge. Our motto is building bridges between cultures and languages, and we love that idea of being able to build that bridge and allowing people to both the local people to see the refugees and actually realize actually you're cool, you're really good people, and it's so good to see you and talk to you and understand that the things that you know how to do and the things that you are capable of doing, but also the refugees and feeling like equal and respected and just being in a context where they can engage with other people. But for us, the main thing that we do to start with is the language. We help them to learn English well, where they can then not, we feel that our role as well is to engage with the interest of the nation, the local government. I think that a lot of parts of the UK, you have groupings of people that, you will find that is mainly because of the language limitations. And I think that if we get them quite early on and we can help them to learn the language and really engage in life in the UK, the potential of them then going on from there is really a lot more likely for them to be able to stand on their own feet.
When we
But then we help them to find jobs and do placements and stuff like that. We do a lot of educational counseling, because a lot of people when they arrive here, depending on where they're from, their qualifications is they're not recognized. So if they want to practice, they will still have to go through studies again, even though they have plenty of experience and qualifications. So.
When we spoke last, we were discussing the story of the Good Samaritan, and how Jesus tells us this story like this is what love looks like, and this is
Mhm.
what loving your neighbor looks like. And for us, especially in the 21st century, just looking at that story, it's incredibly confrontational just because of the sheer amount of time that being intentional takes. In the story, we see him stopping. I mean, in the story that Jesus describes, you see somebody stopping everything to care for the burdens of someone else. And you told us a lot of stories about what that looks like and how that
Mhm.
really is, as we embody what Jesus described, loving your neighbor looks like. We bring huge amounts of transformation. People say, what are you doing and why are you doing that? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think that people like from a Christian perspective, I think that the gut instinct is to say there is someone who doesn't know Jesus. Let me just go and tell them that this is the truth, or Jesus loves you, and it's all really out of a great heart and out of good motivation. But I think that a lot of these people really want someone to walk alongside them. I think that people want that. People want to be related to. They want to be appreciated and respected. And I think that just talking about, the qualifications and the things that the huge amount of baggage these people bring with them, both good and not so good, like all of us, we all have our stuff. I think that a lot of these people, you know, they will respond so much more when they can just you take interest in them for who they are, and without second intentions. I think that I have friends that are so close to me. They are not Christian. They're Muslim. They don't have any faith, and I think that I need to be able to respect them, and learn to appreciate them in that way. And I think that there's always that hope in me, because I can never deny that Jesus changed my life. And when you experience something good and something as amazing as I have experienced, I always hope for the people I care and love that they will also experience that. And I think that is about that journey for people. And I think that you kind of create the stage, don't you? And then you just let things go. And I think that there is no point as well. I think that just saying to people, here it is, this is the gospel, or this is the truth, and it's enough for you to be happy now. I think transformation comes in so many ways. We want to be able to see, our community transformed. We want to see justice. We want to see righteousness. We want to see things happening in a way that is honoring to others. And I think that as a Christian, I know that a lot of the things that I believe, there's so many good things that I learned from my walk with God that can impact that goodness through what we do. So yeah.
Ted, describe for us what some of the challenges of COVID-19 have done for your everyday life, for even being able to impact people. You shared how all of a sudden the school is closed. There's people who need help. There are people who are struggling, but all of a sudden you're stuck and not knowing exactly what to do, but how that didn't actually stop you guys. And tell us a little.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, COVID came, and who prepared for it, right? No one did really. We didn't expect that. So we had a group of people, quite a vast group of people that we were interacting with on a daily basis. And suddenly we couldn't meet these people anymore. I think for the refugees, the asylum seekers do get a lot more. I mean, not a lot more, but they are more established and more settled. But the refugees, some of them can take up to 3 years to be able to hear an answer from the government on whether they can stay or not, which is really, really a long time, considering when someone has already arrived here, having gone through a lot of trauma and a lot of stuff that they are dealing with. So we really try to stand with people like that and help them to process this stuff. We do stuff with art, and we do language. We have a space where people can come and just be there, and get out of their hostels or spaces that, so they can see other people. But that was not available anymore. And we're like, okay, what do? We need to close everything. We can't do anything. And so, following government guidelines every week, and we learned that we could actually do something as a charity, or as from a charitable aspect. Or we work in partnership with a
An
it's called a
NGO.
community interest company. So it's a company that works for the community, and everything that happens is for the benefit of the community. So we were planning and thinking what we could do, and then we just got this news of a guy that was connected to us somehow, that was found dead. A refugee was found dead in his room, and he'd been dead for a few days from COVID. And he didn't even have credit on his phone to call anyone to ask for help. And we sat here thinking, okay, what do we do? And we pray for people, we care for people, but is that really enough? And we just talked, and my wife just went and did a lot of research, and we managed to get lots of funds, and we started doing food parcels and toiletries and cleaning stuff. and we started helping people in that way. And so every week we go out and we take about anything between 35 to 50 food parcels and stuff to different people. And we also top up their mobile phones or cell phones uh, for them to be able to be contacted or contactable by someone. And we create groups as well online through Zoom where they can have continue their learning English, and and just have that interaction with others, but also just social gatherings where they can just be together with someone. We have someone dedicated to doing that. We have people doing pastoral care and looking after people in that way. They're checking on them every week and making sure that they're okay, that whether they need something. And I think that for a lot of people, it's really a shock, like we drop stuff and they're like, oh, we even phone to say, do you need anything? We are doing this and everything. They're like, why? It's like, because we really want to help you. It's like, but why? What's the reason? There is no reason, it's just automatically they think, what do you want in exchange? And it's like, we don't want anything in exchange. We just want to bless you and show you that we care. There's people that are supporting us to do this, and we want to be a blessing to you and help you with stuff at this hard time. And people that come from contexts where doing this kind of stuff and going out to show love um, without wanting something in return is not known. And I think that is a great you witness and blessing to people. People
The
really,
bridge builder for people saying
yeah,
it actually
yeah,
moves you. What is
that's
the
right.
or the hope that you have, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think people just really, really enjoy that, and I think it's really a privilege for us to just see all these these stories, and being able to
When
serve people and see that we can also provide them a good, environment where they can come and let's say from the language side, learn English with really well qualified and experienced teachers. And actually, we don't tell them, oh, you must say that you've got a scholarship or you are a refugee. We treat everybody exactly the same. A lot of them choose to say, when they first ask, oh, what are you doing in the UK? They'll go, oh, I'm a refugee. But some people choose not to. And I think that is okay for them. It's just like their little moment where they just feel like they're just the same. They're just a person with a story. They're respected, they're appreciated, they're treated equally in the classroom. And it's really, really cool, for us to be able to provide that for people.
Arlen and I, when we met you in Sao Paulo, when you were there for an event, you were sharing with me a story that not only is it an opportunity where the refugees' lives are being transformed as they are impacted by really and truly love and hope that all of a sudden has hands and feet and a
Yeah,
mouth and reaching out to them. But not only are their lives being impacted by this, but you also discussed how other people's lives are being impacted as you then provide a platform for practical service. And you told us a story about perhaps it was one of the philanthropists who was involved in something, had given perhaps money toward a breakfast that you guys were doing in a certain area. And you told, do you remember that story, honey? And you talked about how he had given a significant amount of money for bread or something, and you had said, oh, this is great, but I want you to come along also and be there to serve. And you talked about the huge impact that it then had in his life, because all of a sudden he was putting into action, and it gave him an opportunity to actually
yeah.
interact with these people who really were on his
Mm.
doorstep. Tell us a little bit more about that story.
Yeah, I think we have all these going on. I think that from our previous conversation, I shared about this lady that walked up the stairs and she was, she couldn't walk very well. She had some sort of disability with her legs, and she's there like just crying, saying, "I really need help. I want to study English. I can't get walk to the bus stops. I need to go everywhere by taxi, but it costs me." She got £5 a day, right, as a refugee, and it's like, um, taxi cost me $4.50 each way. It's like, how can I do this, you know? And she's literally sobbing at our reception. So it's me, another teacher, the receptionist, and we'll just say, you know, just give us a minute, we'll talk about it. So we'll go into the office, have a little cry, because it's so hard, because it's like, okay, what do we do? We're already stretched to the limit, you know? And then we go like, okay, we go back to her and say, like, we'll see what we can do. So we send a few WhatsApps around, and guys, we have someone here who really wants and needs to get out of her house and learn English. She needs £200 for 3 months to study English, right? And do the transport. And within like hours, people, you know, say, okay, I'll give you this money. And it's like, you've got the £200. And that's all good. I think that it's all out of good heart, and we will still welcome that. I think that it's really good for people to respond in that way and say, yeah, I see a need, I heard about something, and I really want to do that. I'll give you, £200 to help a refugee to study for 3 months. But then, I think that sometimes equally as impacting and important to me is the people that come along and will just say, I really love what you're doing. This is so inspiring, and I really want to be here. I want to do something to bless, to help, we have Christians and non-Christians coming. It's not like, oh, we just do, it's not about that. It's about an opportunity for people to be in an environment where there's something greater being spoken, which is really about love, and I think that for us, that's what is really important. We do the art exhibitions, which is really, really cool, where we get all these artists coming along and doing exhibition. And these are all artists that are doing art with a purpose. It's something that it's from a place of them being impacted by something good as well. And a lot of times, these artists can be Christians as well, but, and just being able to see that environment where people come and say, wow, this is so amazing. This art is so professional. We had a last art exhibition. We had 8 artists from America, Brazil, Spain, Northern Ireland, England, and it's like all these amazing artists coming together to celebrate diversity and culture. And then you get like 200 people flowing in. It's like, you got literally about, once we counted, probably about 30 different nationalities all in the same room, And this for us is just so cool, that where people can come and just be there and do something that if they hadn't. Yeah, you went. Your video is gone again.
Okay, I will figure it out. You keep talking though.
Yeah. So just that thought that for some people that are there and are engaging with this reality, if they hadn't come across what we do, maybe they wouldn't have to have that opportunity to just do something that they feel like I'm serving, I'm helping, and I'm blessing people that needs that support at this moment.
Well, maybe before we close off, Rauni, you can tell us a little bit more about that. If there's somebody watching this and they're like, wow, you're in Liverpool, could I maybe come on spring break, or could I come, like COVID-19 being over, of course.
Yes.
Could I come on my vacation time or in between semesters for a university student? Is there anything that people could do to serve? Perhaps our people in the UK who are watching this, or people who are in Canada or in the US, or maybe even other English speakers who may be hearing this. Are there opportunities that they could plug in and perhaps be a part of, seeing firsthand what it's like to serve refugees and be a part of sharing hope with them? Or do you have opportunities like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, Cynthia, we have sometimes a waiting list of about 200 people that we can't embrace. Mm-hmm. And that just really, hurts. When you see people coming in.
You're talking about refugees who are needing your assistance. Okay.
Yeah, like they come and say, can I study English with you? And we're like, we are capacity, and mainly because we don't have enough teachers we have quite a few teachers, but we don't have enough teachers to welcome all of those people. And for a lot of our teachers, that's their living, so we can't just expect that they work for free all the time. But a lot of our teachers excuse me, will also go and do extra classes without being paid, because they can't deal with seeing, people waiting and wanting an opportunity to learn and not being there, that opportunity. So yes, lots of opportunities to serve. I think, artists, English teachers, but also I know that these live, it's probably not the best for me to say this, but people that want to learn English, a lot of what we do is maintained and sustained through students that come to study with us. And this is
I
one of
see.
our biggest challenges during the lockdown, which is that, we have lost a lot of that ability to have students. So we are doing all that we can to maintain things going online. But, the more customers we have, the more room we can make for refugees coming, because we can then bring teachers on
So,
and
so what you're
open the
saying is,
opportunity.
if there's somebody who might be hearing this, or when we share this on our Portuguese speaking channels, if there's somebody who is interested in learning English and doing cross-cultural studies somewhere, and they really want to better their English, they could, by choosing to study there, they are not only learning English, but they are by default, just having chosen that school, they are then blessing refugees because of your scholarship program. And so the
Totally,
parents,
yeah,
I see. So there you go. That's a practical way that we can let the word out. And
yeah.
because the majority of the people will be watching this now in English, so if someone wants to come and see firsthand what you're doing, they can, we'll try to put your website then on there and your contact information so that
Hmm.
other people can find out more how they can be hands and feet, also bringing hope to refugees, and maybe even just seeing firsthand. Instead of just going to go visit the London Eye, they could hop on over to Liverpool and see firsthand
Yeah.
what you're.
Liverpool is a great city. It's the second city in the UK with the biggest number of listed buildings. So, like, lots of heritage after London, lots of art galleries and museums. And obviously, music is huge. So, the Cavern Club for the Beatles is here. It's in the coast. So, it's that cool, quirky city. So, it's decent size, but not too big. But it's just a brilliant place. People are very friendly. Yeah, it's a great place to visit.
Well, honey, it's been so good to have you here. And I hope that those of you who are listening, that all of us can be able to engage more intentionally. I think this has been the central theme of everything we've talked about today, both in the live that we had before this and the live that we had now, was living life intentionally, not just seeing a need of displaced people across the world, but then saying, okay, what can I do? And perhaps the person listening to this doesn't have the opportunity and privilege to be involved in this full time like Rauni does, but being a part of it in either by giving financially or being able to tell other people about the school so that they can be paying customers, or going firsthand to see it themselves.
Yeah.
And somebody watching this, maybe one of your followers on Instagram, Rauni, said that he spent one day there and it was unforgettable. So there you go. He spent one day in Liverpool. Even more unforgettable if they go visit the school. So thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to give us then
No,
content,
thank you. Yeah,
and
I'll
we'll.
put it here.
So those of you who are watching, if you have comments or questions, or you would like to send in, you would like to be in contact, there's Rauni's Instagram, is the
And
at
this is
sign,
the schools.
and that is the schools. Okay, and you've got a website. Do you have a website for the
We
school?
do, yeah.
Okay, so we will put that then in the comment section. Let me take a picture of it with my phone because I think it might disappear later. And there we go. Thank you once again. Really appreciate it. God bless you, and thank you for being with us. And please thank your wife and your kids for sharing you with us tonight.
It's been a great pleasure, Cynthia. Thank you very much.
God bless you. Bye bye.
And you, bye bye.